And worse, whatever cabal brought Harrow into the Pantheon still lives inside our house. We thought they were long gone. But it turns out, they never left.
Who's that?
Talking back, a detonator.
Am I supposed to know who that was? Okay, I looked it up, and apparently that was the post-credit scene. That's not what that means, so this website got it wrong. There is no post-credit scene in this game, apparently. But it says the cutscene ends with Jackson Kane seemingly accessing important files on a computer that could have belonged to none other than Livingston himself. Who is Jackson Kane? And it says Kane's identity is largely unknown, but it's fairly possible that he could be connected to Ryan Jackson from the previous Black Ops games. Where are we getting these names from? Ryan Jackson? Dude's got 2 first names. Who's Ryan Jackson? And how did they know this guy's name was Jackson Kane? I'm so confused. What is going on? I'm so confused. What? I have no clue. I just have no clue at all. I don't know what I'm missing, dude. Let me look at Reddit. People online are saying that it's Alex Mason. No, I mean, I don't think so. It doesn't look anything like him. They're just both white. I'm assuming it's that Australian voice we were hearing the entire time throughout this campaign. Some people are saying it could be Case, but again, how are we supposed to know that? Like, this guy's saying it's Rezanov. He's lost. Rezanov would be like so old. Geriatric. Data miners confirmed it's Mason? Dude, everybody's just confused. Nobody knows what's going on. Yeah, the story didn't really make any sense in this game. Like 90% of it. Which I'm sure was Treyarch's fault because Raven managed to write a very good campaign story in the last one. And Treyarch, I'm imagining, ruined it because they cannot write anything for shit. I mean, the last thing they wrote was Black Ops 3. And Black Ops 4, if you want to count that. Not exactly amazing. They have to keep Mason secret from Woods at least until BO2. So what is going on? If that's going to be like their next game, not the game like next. But dude, what? What? I trust a news article, more than I do random YouTube comments, but so I guess it is Jackson Kane, but why did they try to act like we knew who that was? They're actually trying to make Jackson Kane this mole, maybe the one that got Mason killed. They also did not say if Case died or not. Let's see what this guy's trying to say.
So first off, right off the bat, those 2 cutscenes reveal that Jane Harrow is in fact dead, and the conversation in that second cutscene confirms that she is dead, but her legacy with Pantheon continues on throughout the CIA. However, interestingly, they never say anything about what happened to William Case Calderon. Now, notably, he was in the helicopter with Jane Harrow when she was being choked out, and then we kind of cut to black, and we never actually see him die.
Yeah, they also didn't explain what happened with Case. That's why I don't think he's dead. I think in Black Ops 7, which won't be next year's COD, but probably in 3 to 4 years from now. Or maybe we'll get story DLC. I doubt it. It'd be the first time in history, but unless you want to count him to be 3 story DLC, which, you know. But yeah, I fairly confident Case and Harrow were the 2 first subjects of whatever this biological weapon were, and it gave us like really crazy powers, which wasn't shown well at all right at the end. It was supposed to be like making me strong, I think, but that didn't happen because all I did was choke Harrow out, which, like, yeah, a guy can do that pretty easily to anybody, let alone a woman. Yeah, I think they're just saving it for the next installment. I think it's really stupid to give Case such a big, like so much backstory and this really important person, and like just like give him all this backstory, this personality. He's supposed to be this just crazy veteran in war and has like amazing skills, yet he has no personality because he's just, who the fuck is he? He's silent. He's literally a mute protagonist. And that's, I think, my least favorite part about this game. I think all the missions are super fun. Some more than others, but I think gameplay-wise they really switched it up a lot, and I really liked it. I gotta be, like, it's sad that Harrow died at the end as well, or because you know she was like semi a good guy, but I think she was the second test subject, so she was brainwashed. I don't even think this campaign is as good as Cold War's. It maybe the missions are more fun to play, but story-wise, I don't think it's necessarily better than Cold War's. I mean, it's just very... I haven't seen a campaign this confusing and this many people confused about it since BO3, and these are the only two that are this confusing. And like, most of it's not confusing, but yeah, the ending, who the fuck is that? And why should I care? It's obviously not Mason, because it doesn't look anything like them. Apparently it's Jackson Kane, which he's an operator in the multiplayer. I don't give a fuck. I mean, an operator in the multiplayer, whoop-de-fucking-do. I think it's possible that the guy at the end they were trying to say is Case, and he's trying to finish Harrow's work now, because he was brainwashed as too by that stuff, and he's going to be the villain in the next game. That's my favorite theory on who that guy at the end was. I think it should be Case, I meant to say. I don't know if I said something wrong earlier. But that's going to be significantly worsened by the fact that he had no personality in this game at all. He was just a silent protagonist where you could click stuff and he was supposedly saying words. Why, Raven, I just got to ask you, not that any of you are ever going to see this, but what is the point in these silent protagonists? It doesn't add anything to the game. In fact, it only takes away from it. I hate the silent protagonist. I always prefer a voice-acted protagonist. Even Cold War made Bell have more personality because he was so fleshed out that it felt like I did actually know who he was, and I felt for him at the end. But with Case, like, we don't know anything about him because they don't fully explain any of it. They start explaining it in a mission halfway through the game, or maybe even before halfway through the game, and then nothing else after that. It's just hard to wrap my head around why they wouldn't, fully flesh out his story. Why wait till the next game? Why did we even play his Case in this game? He could have been somebody on our team, and we play as Harrow, because she has a more, like, her story, obviously, in my opinion, as the second test subject, I think she had the more fleshed out story in the end, despite us thinking for most of the game that she was a bad guy, and then at the end we just discover that she was basically just brainwashed by Pantheon. So I don't know. I like this campaign. I definitely love playing it. I think there's going to be a lot of issues with people saying that this campaign on some missions is very similar to MW3's, especially the mission where you just walk around, like the sand mission especially. I enjoyed it, but that's not going to be a mission I like replaying. The mission in, I think it was in Iraq, where you go around, it's just this open fucking war zone map. I enjoyed it. It was definitely much more fleshed out than in the MW3 missions. But I don't even think it surpasses some of those MW3 missions. like the one in the high rise, which is really the only good one, the only good like open world MW3 mission is that one in the Russian high rise. That feels much more planned out, has a map design than that Iraq mission. Any otherwise, I think people are really going to enjoy this campaign. I think the problem comes when talking about the story. I'm really glad they did not make it Adler killing Harrow's parents. That would have been so fucking stupid. Because why is Adler the one that does everything in these campaigns? Adler didn't even play a big role. And they said Adler worked at that gas, what's it called? That facility that Case and Harrow, in my opinion, was tested on. And then it's never mentioned again. Like, Adler clearly knows something, but they don't even finish their own story. This game could have went on for another 3 or 4 missions before it was actually, like, the story was well thought out. And now we have to wait 3 or 4 more years before we actually get a resolution to this, because we're not going to get a resolution to it, more than likely, in next year's Call of Duty, because it's supposed to be a sequel to Black Ops 2 from all the leaks. So it probably just won't be mentioned. It could be mentioned in like one line, like some alluding to something. But, dude, I think if they do the next game right, this game will make a lot more sense. If they actually flesh out everything that's happening. And I think the Black Ops franchise will be one of the strongest stories in media, period. I mean, from World at War all the way until... I'm talking about in chronological order, all the way until Black Ops 2. BO3 does not exist. That chronological storyline is so good. Every game has a good story. With BO1 and BO2 being considered by a lot of the COD fan base that those are like the 2 best games campaign-wise. BO1, people say the story is the best. I think BO2 is personally the best story in COD. I loved the branching storyline. I loved all the characters. I think Raul Menendez is the strongest antagonist in the series. And God, I mean, that just has to do with the voice actor, which rest in peace. And then you switch back and forth, and this is obviously supposed to be a sequel to the old missions in BO2. So I think this is such a strong, like, just in the next game, Raven, fucking nail it. Tell us everything. I don't want to wait another 3 to 4 years, but it seems like that's how long it's going to take for us to get the actual resolution to the story. And, you know, maybe nobody will care at that point, because the main problem with this campaign is that they didn't finish the story. Now, they could have... I don't think Pantheon had to die. That's awesome. That's like setting Shadow Company up for multiple games in the Modern Warfare series, or setting, you know, Makarov's people up for multiple. But you want to know the thing with Makarov's crew? It has Makarov. It has one of the strongest villains in COD history. One of the most brutal villains in COD history. That ties it all together. But when there is literally nobody at the head of Pantheon that we know about, how are we supposed to care when in the next game we finally figure it out? How does that make this game make sense anymore, or make it any better? I think Case being a double agent is definitely a cool twist, but that's the thing too. At the end of this game, they didn't even explain what the twist was. There was supposed to be some kind of twist there, but from my understanding, nobody understands what actually happened at the end of the campaign. And that's not good. It's kind of embarrassing, like, that people don't know what happened in this campaign. And that's, like I said, that's only happened one time before, and that was in the BO3 campaign. And that is one of the worst. That is the worst COD campaign ever. Period. The story, people try to claim the story is so amazing. I don't know, because you can't actually get the story in the game, so I don't give a fuck to look it up outside of the game, because I didn't enjoy it in the regular game, whatever story they tried to put there. All of the characters in BO3 suck. Every single one. So yeah, especially Hendrix. That's the worst main supporting character ever. Like, by far. They tried to do Woods too, and it didn't work because Hendrix was voice acted terribly and wasn't an interesting character at all like Woods. Just, it pisses me off that I can draw so many similarities to this game, to BO3. Not that every COD campaign needs a main villain, but we've kind of come to expect that from this point. And the fact that the main villain is just this shadow organization that may or may not have been formed in the CIA, which I think they confirmed at the end that it was in the CIA, but like not in a super like, holy shit, it was formed by Hudson himself or some fucking bullshit. Like, that would be terrible too. But just like as an example. But so they just say that it was formed in the CIA, but they don't make it interesting at all. So all we have is the Shadow Organization with nobody at the top for us to care about. It's like, does Shadow Company really matter without the guy at the top? I don't, for some reason I'm drawing a blank on his name, but like, you have General Shepard kind of at the top of Shadow Company in the main series, and then in the new series you have General Shepard contracting Shadow Company led by Graves, and Graves and General Shepard are both amazing characters. They're really, really good. But, you know, without them, does Shadow Company really matter? No, it's just more people you're putting bullets into. Because at the end of the day, that's all COD campaigns are. So you really need to give us a reason to care about who these Pantheon people are. And they don't explain it at all until halfway through the game. They say they might be CIA formed, they might be a bunch of other, and then they confirm in the last few missions that they're absolutely a part of the CIA. But it doesn't matter, because why should I care? They're just people I was shooting. Now, it did feel... The thing I did like about this campaign is that it felt like there was... it was like an oh shit moment when Pantheon actually showed up. They were better geared, their guns did more damage, and they had more armor. I really like that. Like, it felt like, oh shit, we should watch out for these people because they can definitely fuck us up. But there comes an issue when you have this, but then there's nobody backing them. I just keep repeating the same thing because I think it's really important. Who is the person at the top? If they're trying to make it this Jackson Kane, I mean, why not fucking mention him more in the campaign? If they're trying to say that was Case at the end, cool, I guess. I think his story could be really fleshed out as an antagonist in the next game. But honestly, it doesn't matter as much, and it's not going to be as impactful because he wasn't voice acted, and we never got to see his face in this game. He had no character development besides his backstory. And learning about that was extremely fun in one of the best missions, I think, in Call of Duty history, which was Emergence. I think this is one of the best COD campaign missions ever. It's just very unique, and I had a lot of fun playing it. But they don't expand his background besides like 2 lines in the last mission past this mission. Why not? That's another thing. If they really had to go with the silent protagonist angle, why not fully flesh out his story in this game and then make it abundantly clear, or his background anyways, that he was a test subject and he's actually like this super soldier fucking, you know, crazy guy that's going to be formidable in the next game set in, you know, the early 2000s or mid 90s, whatever. Just flesh out his background. Just fully flesh it out, and then I will care more despite him not being voice acted in this game. That's how they should have done it. They didn't fucking do that. People are hoping for story DLC. I'm sorry, it's not coming. I mean, I will happily eat shit, but this would be the first time they would ever do that. I think MW3 was going to be, but so I guess it's more possible than ever, since they were kind of planning to do that with MW3, since originally, from all the leaks anyways, it was supposed to be DLC. But They still haven't pulled the trigger on it, so I'm not holding out hope that we're ever going to get DLC, campaign DLC for this game. And why would they? The campaign's like the least played mode in this game. So I think selling it, just like they did on MW2 Remastered, which apparently I'm pretty sure they made some pretty good money on that. But, you know, selling it could make them a lot of money, which I'd buy it for $20, whatever, if it's, 4 or 5 missions, 6 missions, whatever. Give me a whole nother fucking campaign. I don't give a shit. You had 4 games, you had 4 years to work on this, and this campaign is not that long. This is the COD campaign that's been worked on the longest out of any of the COD games that had the longest development cycle, and the campaign is maybe only a little bit longer than the other ones, like maybe by 30 minutes. I searched everywhere in this game. Like, I tried to get everything I could. There wasn't enough money for me to even actually get all the upgrades, not even close. But, yeah, I searched everywhere. So it took me a lot longer to finish this campaign. It probably took me around, I'd say 8 hours. I'd have to go back and check. Which most COD campaigns are 6 or less. Some COD campaigns are like 6.5 to 7 hours, but it's rare. And obviously, if you're just speedrunning this game, which I know people are going to complain about, but if you're just speedrunning this game, yeah, it's probably only going to take you 5 to 6 hours. I really like to get into these. So I think what is really interesting about these final missions is that they're actually split up. You start on separation anxiety, and then you go to checkmate, and then you go back to separation anxiety, back to checkmate, back to separation anxiety, and then back to checkpoint. I think that's interesting, even though it doesn't play out like drastically differently. It is a little interesting that they are saying these are like the same missions but cut up into sections, and you're actually playing like 2 different missions at once. I think that's definitely interesting that they did that. And I thought that last mission was amazing. I did not really think like defending the house was that special until the end when they came in and got Harrow and stabbed Woods, and then all the way up to the end it was really good. But the real like separation anxiety was the real standout. I always loved mindfucky missions in Black Ops. It's something that I would never want in like a Modern Warfare game because I don't think it fits, but it fits super well into Black Ops every single time. Personally, I only think that Emergence is better. And then the one from Cold War, I don't remember what the mission was called. Those are my 2 favorite mindfucky missions. Put separation anxiety as a last, especially this truth part. This part was fucking awesome. The fucking zombies jumping off the skyscraper to try to hang onto your chopper. This mission, if it was longer and there was more really cool stuff, could have been my favorite in the game. Right now, it's only about my second favorite mission in the game, behind Emergence. But yeah, if we add up all of separation anxiety, it's still my second favorite. So I'm going to go through and rank them really quick. And then I'll give my final ranking at the end. Bishop Takes Rook was, kind of just the introductory to the story, to Adler coming back, to all that stuff. Really cool. Definitely felt like a classic COD mission, especially, the new ones they've been putting in where, it's... you're going, you're shooting a bunch of people, you're trying to get somebody out. I think it's a fun mission. It looks amazing, and it's got those classic like starting cutscenes that Cold War introduced that are just fucking crazy. I'll rank this a 7 out of 10 mission. Nothing crazy, and it's probably maybe the shortest mission in the game if we're putting separation anxiety and checkmate together. Because in my opinion, separation anxiety and checkpoint are all one mission, so it's actually the longest mission in the game. In my opinion, I think that's how we should look at it. So I think this is the shortest mission in the game, and yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. It's a solid mission. It's fun to play. It's a good introduction, but not necessarily a standout. Now, the safe house, I think, was a really good part of this game. There was nowhere near as many secrets and customization you could do to your safe house that I think they wanted you to believe there would be. I mean, In reality, every puzzle you could do in the safe house was only to get $1,000 out of a safe. So, despite how cool that journey was, the payoff was not there. I think that was super fucking lame. Besides, we got a Mason reference on the fucking note of the achievement. It's like, okay, but, like, why? Like, there should have been rewards for doing the boiler thing attached to the piano door and unlocking the door at the bottom. That makes sense to put together. But once you get in there, there should be, you know, you have to do that keypad. All you're really getting is lore and your hacking stuff. And then you go in there, you get the key, you go in, and you get the code through that pretty good puzzle, in my opinion, through the guy speaking on the radio. That's good, but why is there not a reward for three of these separate things? The boiler and the piano, you get something when you walk in, at least a cutscene or something, like something, you know, of everybody like discovering it together. And it puts you in this like mini mission where you got to figure out everything that's going on down there, and do all the stuff. Which none of it's really that hard, so I don't think that would be such a big ask to make it a mission. And you could, you know, come back at any point and do more of the mission when you go exploring with your people. But it's like Case was the only one in there that was actually exploring anything. Everybody else was just doing fuck all, fucking making stew and looking at porn. I think. So you should get, you know, the cutscene when you go down in there and you'll unlock that door. And then you get, I think you should have got cutscenes for every time you would unlock one of those. Like, that story of the Russians that were there, that were like the sleeper agents. I think that would be a good thing to give us some sort of actual visual element to, instead of just reading it on a computer screen or off a note. So then you go in there, get the key, and then you'd go and unlock that other room, and you'd get something in there. It doesn't even have to be money. That's not what I mean as a reward. It just has to be something more than just all of that leading to only a safe. I think the safe house was a good idea, and I love, you know, conversing with everybody, but I honestly think just Cold War's whole aesthetic and aura and just, like, even just secrets in the safe house, that honestly was a better safe house, and it was much smaller, and there didn't feel like anywhere as much to do. But it feel like you got rewarded for it more. Even just like that point in Cold War when you walk into the Red Room and the TV flashes on, and it can be like a jump scare moment. Like, even that's rewarding, to just walk around, and you can obviously talk to people and stuff in there, which was just as good in this game as it was in the last. But yeah, I felt like they could have done more with it, especially with 4 years of dead time. I mean, I don't know if Raven had 4 years of dead time. I know Treyarch did, but I don't know. I think it's a good idea, the safe house, but it could have been implemented better. And everybody could see, I promise you, Raven, everybody could see that this game was going to end with the safe house getting attacked. Everybody knew that. And also the upgrade system in the safe house, where you buy the upgrade stations, which, I mean, it's literally just spending money on 3 points to then get upgrades. It's not anything special. And then the upgrades are cool. I thought it was cool that you could just grab cash like it was a Lego game. But they didn't give you anywhere near as much cash as they should have. Like, dude, I was getting maybe 2K a mission. That is not enough to get all of that stuff. So you really have to go back and, like, buy everything else. But I don't really understand how you're even going to do that. Because I don't think you can continue, like, play all the missions back without overwriting your save to, like, find more money. So I don't think that system was necessarily well thought out. I think to get those, I'm going to have to play through the entire campaign again just to get those 2 other guns that I didn't buy. I don't care about, I might do all the achievements, but that means I'm going to have to play the campaign again after that, which is definitely annoying, because I'm sure there's an achievement for buying, for buying everything. So, safe house, good idea, not amazing in execution. 5 out of 10. Blood Feud was a pretty cool mission. It was semi-open worldy. I think the start of the mission is nowhere near as good as the like end of the mission and the chase, and like getting captured and all that. But a good mission, and even though it felt a little, it definitely felt Black Opsy. Like Bishop Takes Rook as a mission, like especially its setting, could definitely take place in a Modern Warfare game, and I like that realistic shit. And I like the fantasy shit, or the Black Ops like secret spy shit that like missions like Blood Feud like to do. But I don't think this is their best attempt at a Black Opsy style mission, especially since the first part of it's kind of open world. And although I don't hate that, it doesn't make it nearly as replayable as the other missions. So I'll give this mission a 6 out of 10. Most Wanted, I think this is one of the most impressive missions in the game. I want to go back and like do all the different do all the different things you can do. I'm just not totally sure how you even do that, because you're supposed to be able to like gather all of the different, like do the 3 different options to gather the retinal scan. But I mean, I completed one and then it wouldn't let me do the other one because I had already beat the shit out of the dude and got the retinal scan. But I definitely feel like this is a good mission. The checkpoints were fucking horrible on this mission though, so that's definitely, I'm docking points for that. And also, it didn't help that they had people halfway through the mission come in that would spot you from across the thing super quickly. And if you got spotted by them, take this horrible checkpoint that was 30 minutes ago. That was awful, and I hated I spent so much time in this mission when I wasn't trying to. And we get to the stealth or run and gun section at the end, whatever you want to do, and I actually think that was one of the stronger like shooty missions, and then the chase at the end was fucking awesome. So yeah, I definitely think that this mission has a lot of good about it, probably more good than bad, but there's just some really bad gameplay choices and gameplay design choices that didn't work. But I'll give this our first 8 out of 10 because I really think the gameplay holds up. Hunting Season. This was the one where you just were in an open war zone map. It was just like the MW3 missions, only implemented better. I really like how they were introducing Saddam Hussein. I mean, that was like, I really love the real world parallel there. It was a fun mission. I definitely had fun playing it, but I probably never, like, I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't like it, really enjoy playing it again so soon. It's definitely the least replayable mission, except Park's in it, so that gives it a few points. I'll give this mission a 5, which I haven't given anything a 5 yet, besides the safe house, but that doesn't really count. The Cradle was a pretty good mission. I liked all the kill streaks. Also in Hunting Party, all the kill streaks and equipment you could use. I thought that was all really cool. I got a glitch at the end and had to restart from checkpoint, and then I had to find some guy on the other side of the fucking map, which was annoying. But then this is the first mission where the Cradle gets introduced, so the story actually starts like 6 missions in. But yeah, the ending was definitely cool, where like it's kind of like I've heard of the conspiracy theory that Saddam Hussein had like all of this wealth and gold, and he was trading it for this biological weapon. Not that part, but just he had all this gold stashed somewhere in the Middle East. So I thought that was cool. I always love when they make conspiracy theories real things in Black Ops games, because especially like, I mean, the most famous one is Mason killing JFK. I think that's just super awesome. They find a way to canonize it in the story they're telling, and I think that's awesome. You know, they found a way to tie this conspiracy theory about Saddam Hussein having all of this wealth, and but in this game they made it so he was actually trading all that wealth for a biological weapon for a hand up in the war. So I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Emergence, 10 out of 10. This is one of the best Call of Duty missions ever. The art design in this mission is fucking phenomenal. The grappling hook is amazing. You fight zombies. Zombies are mannequins this entire time. There's 3 different boss fights. Oh, dude, this mission is so good. And you finally start to try to understand what happened with Case, which was really only alluded to back in Hunting Party, I think, or Hunting Season. This felt like Prey 2017 mixed with Bioshock. I mean, they literally had a bathysphere in it. Mixed with Stanley Parable a little bit. Like kind of horror-y zombies. You get a fucking axe to start with where you just beat the shit out of zombies with. You can do those grapple kills from Advanced Warfare on the zombies, which was so cool, and you can grapple around. Oh, dude, this mission is so good, and it has probably the best developing story in any of them. I think another game this reminds me of is art-wise and a little bit story-wise is, I think it's a game called Control. I never finished it, but it definitely is reminding me of that game for some reason. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for this mission for sure. Then we got High Rollers. This is another good mission. The casino shit was really cool. The whole, I mean, yeah, the layout, the casino, everything was awesome. The story implications were really cool. Even if I feel like the more interesting part of the story is like the stuff introduced in Emergence. But yeah, we obviously got the intel from here that the Pantheon was running their money through this casino. I don't think that mattered at all in the grand scheme of the game, so I don't really know why that's the explanation they went with. We got something else from this too. I don't totally remember what we got from it. I gotta mention the video. That video is really cool that we got in Emergence. I think this was one of the best like action-y type movies. It definitely reminded me of the end of the KGB headquarters mission in Cold War. I'd give this mission a 9 out of 10. I think it's really good. Not sure how Pantheon funneling money through this casino, I'm not sure how that mattered at all in the grand scheme, but okay. Ground Control. I think this was a pretty good mission. I always love airport missions. No Russian. But yeah, this was really cool. It felt really realistic. It looked visually a lot like the old Medal of Honor games, or even like Battlefield 3. Like being in, I believe we were in Iraq, maybe? I don't know exactly where it took place. Somewhere in the Middle East. And, yeah, I thought it was super. I mean, it was Adler and Simmons from Cold War, or Sims, whatever. And yeah, it was just a fun mission. Nothing all that special. We got to drive a tank and fuck people up, so that was fun. I literally drove over a Juggernaut because he couldn't move out of the way fast enough. So yeah, we'll give Ground Control a 7 because I think Ground Control is a little bit better. Under the Radar. This one I was super hyped for because it was in Vorkuta. A little disappointed. I don't think this was done anywhere near as well as, what was it called? Most Wanted, and it was pretty similar to that, but also had elements from Hunting Season where it was kind of open world and you just kind of went and did, the objectives, but it had those like it had 3 objectives you had to do, and then 3 different ways you could do that, or I think there was even like a hidden 4th one for all of them as well. At least I found 2 like hidden 4th ones, and that was super cool. And the mission going under was super cool too. The gameplay at the first part wasn't up to snuff, especially not with Most Wanted being a mission. So I'll give this mission a 6.5 because I think it is a big point in the story and stuff, and there is a lot to do in this mission. You could probably spend 3 hours trying to do all the different stuff on this mission, but I'll give it a 7 because it's a much longer mission than Ground Control. There's a lot more to do. I just think the gameplay in the first part of the mission was a little bit lacking. Not that it was bad, just not great. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Now, I'm combining Separation Anxiety and Checkpoint as the last mission because you play them all as a last mission. This is also one of the best missions in COD history. I'm going to give this mission a strong 9. And the only thing that brings it down is the ending. You just kill Harrow and then the game ends. And that's basically it. That's stupid. That I didn't like the ending to this game like at all because I didn't understand it. And it looks like nobody else did either, so I don't feel like the stupid one. So yeah, but separation anxiety, all the trippy drug Black Ops shit is super cool. Checkmate's just a cool defend the thing. It's definitely all the checkmate parts are it's the weakest part of the mission, but still it's fun. You get to blow a bunch of people up, and that bridge part was really cool. I was fucking popping off on that checkpoint mission, dude. I was defending my boys. Yep, all these, they're just really good. Just really fun. This was really good. The truth part of separation anxiety was amazing. Right behind checkmate for me. Second best mission for sure, but separation and checkmate as definitely the second best mission. And then checkmate Black Sea, not my favorite, except the cutscene with Woods fucking blasting people with a shotgun. That was cool. Overall, I give this a 9 out of 10 for sure. Okay, so in the end, I changed like scores by like a point. So I'm just gonna go through again and tell you really quickly. Bishop Takes Rook, I gave a 7. Blood Feud, I gave a 6. Most Wanted, I gave an 8. Hunting Steven, I gave a 6. The Cradle, I gave a 6.5. Emergence, I gave a 10. High Rollers, I gave a 9. Ground Control, I gave a 7. Under the Radar, I gave a 7. And the final mission, I gave a 9. So that would be 80.5 points out of 110. And in total, that makes it around 73%. Is that how I actually feel about this game? Does my ranking system actually work? No, not really. I think this game is at least probably an 80%. Which I guess I could have like been less harsh on the safe house, but I think that wasn't well implemented, really. Not super well implemented anyways, especially since the upstairs portion of the thing is never used. Nobody ever goes up there. So like, why even add it? Like, it's cool that I got to explore it, but it's only used to put that safe in there for the safe house puzzles. That's literally it. That's all that's up there. So I'm gonna give this game an 80%. But you know, going off my ranking system, that's only about a 73%. So, but I think 80 is fair because I think that's also not factoring in like how good the story was. I didn't factor that in. I just factored in how the gameplay was. So I think with the story, it raises it to an 80. If the story was amazing, like PO1 or BO2, it would probably be raised to like a 95. Unfortunately, it's not amazing. This might have felt disjointed, but I just was kind of going through points in my mind. I didn't have anything written down. I'll probably make this like a separate video than the rest of them. But yeah, I love you all. Thank you for watching. I'm going to go eat food because I've been playing this game all day. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.
Alright, thanks guys for watching. I have one more part going out for you guys. And I had a lot of good things to say and a lot of bad things to say story-wise. Really, story-wise was the only bad part about this game. And it wasn't, like, all of it wasn't bad. I think the overall story was extremely generic, but it was, like, fine and the writing was good. And I liked, you know, all the characters. But yeah, the woman that did Harrow's voice, I don't know if she was directed to be so monotone all the time, but it really just made the voice acting part of her character very phoned in. Like, I feel like she wasn't putting any effort into it for most of the game, especially in the first mission when she's, like, interrogating Adler. It's just really goofy because you can tell she's, like, not really trying. Which I think the monotone thing helps definitely for how her character is like crazy, but and like brainwashed. But I think she could have done a lot more. Anyways, yep. Look out for the next part soon, and I will catch you guys in the next part. All right, bye.